Welcome, family. Once again, we continue to meet on our show as we are giving you quick updates of what is happening around our nation, around the neighboring countries, and also giving a bit of commentary on the political issues that we are seeing around us. More and more interesting things that are happening, and we need to be focusing and looking into the implications of especially the South African politics to our own situation. So by voting the ANC, South Africans chose continued suffering. Julius Malema. This is the comment that was given by the president of the EFF, Julius Malema, in yesterday's show, in yesterday's press conference that he held. And this press conference, I had promised you that we were going to broadcast it live on our show. But unfortunately, yesterday we could not because we had a power cut that stretched into many hours into even the early morning. Right. So Malema is talking to the South African people and telling them that actually giving 40% to the ANC that they did was actually voting their problems on and on. And I think to some extent, I do agree with Julius Malema, because the ANC has caused quite a lot of, setbacks on the South African situation in terms of the economy, in terms of social services, in terms of employment. Quite a lot has gone down. We see prices rising up, prices multiplying, some even multiplying, in a very short period of time, doubling. And that would be not a good thing, especially considering that our African economies are always struggling to rise. Our African economies, in most cases, you find that they never go up; they actually go down. And for us to have a government that would be relaxed when things are going south, it will be really an irresponsible government. A government must make sure that they tie the knots to make sure that you don't just allow your currency and the economy to plunge, because taking it up won't be a very easy thing, especially with businesses leaving countries. When you find businesses leaving countries, it becomes a big problem, especially in our African context. So recovery is not easy. Destruction is easy, but building is never easy. So Malema is citing quite a lot of things that include employment, things that include the electricity problem that South Africa faces, the ESCOM challenge. And he says South Africans have seen this happening, but it seems like they've not learned anything out of it. Why have they even given the ANC 40%? Of course, people were thinking that ANC has received enough punishment, but still, people like Malema still feel like ANC was not even supposed to get that 40%. Probably they were supposed to get even like half of that, 20% or so. And this is why we find that it is them that are looking for partners to get into coalition with. And with Mbalula, of course, trying to still want to talk like a boss, but at the same time, he finding himself in a compromising position. He doesn't call the shots. That's the truth. He can't stand on his own. If you can't stand on your own, you can't now look for a partner to cause you to survive. And then you look at them when you have a big mouth. You don't even have to have a big mouth. You really need to humble yourself and make sure that you enter into agreements with others without you bossing them around. Yes, you have been a boss when you used to have 57, 60%, 70% in the past, but with 40%, really the ANC needs to humble themselves and negotiate in good faith. Let's just hear a part of the video that was of the address of Julius Malema yesterday, what he has said to the South African people. And I think also it also teaches us with our Zimbabwean context that, voting ZANU-PF is a continuous extension of our troubles and our problems. And this is the problem that we still have in Zimbabwe, where we have quite a lot of people that are still voting ZANU-PF. And that is a big error, and it will continue to cause prolonged suffering. So the South African people also should have simply gotten rid of the ANC once and for all, if they really wanted their problems to go. If it was a different party negotiating for the alliances, it was going to be a better story than to still have the ANC in charge. Because I am telling you, where they are going, where South Africa is going right now, when the way we are looking at things, is not going to be good at all. And the idea of bringing in the coalition or the unity government and the like, systems will never work accordingly. And I'm telling you, I can tell you from this point of view that where they are going is going to be a very tough time for South Africa, not as easy as all.
Well, there's no need, really. The people of South Africa must swallow what they've decided to chew. And they decided to chew 40% of the ANC. So why should you field a presidential candidate for what? That's what they said they want. Why do they go and make decisions and they hope someone is going to rescue them from the other side? It's their own decision. They chose load shedding. They chose Ramaphosa. They chose the highest level of unemployment. They chose racism. That's what they chose. So if the ANC fails to come together with progressive formations, we are prepared to sit back. But let's tell you, we'll fully participate in this parliament. And this time around, we've taken a decision not to play a role of a disruption, of being robust, of engaging to a point where we follow up that which was rejected illegally in parliament through peaceful protest on the streets. You will never see us on the stage. You will never see us fighting with any bouncer, anything of that sort. We are here as a 10-year-old organization with mature parliamentary politics, well experienced to make sure that the views of those who voted for us are well represented. From now onwards, when you say there is a racist at our work, we check the historical tweeting of yours. If you have been tweeting ANC, DA, go and fight with those white people alone.
So there we have it. Indeed, the EFF has really been fighting so hard in terms of trying to bring equality, in terms of the issues of racism that has been happening in South Africa. That I do really understand them from that standpoint. And it will be also very unfair for people to continue to suffer with issues that they could have solved by probably choosing some other leaders who could stand better for them in other areas. So it is unfortunate, really, if the EFF would stop their robust interactions that they've been doing in the parliament and also outside on scenarios that involved issues like racism, like, white oppression of blacks. If they stop to do that, it's never going to be so good for South Africa. And I wish they could change their position, because it's really not going to be good. I hope they are not speaking from a bitter place, because it was going to be really helping them out. But, well, if they don't enter into the coalition, I think they stand to have a better advantage, because the advantage will be anyone who enters into the coalition with the ANC becomes one with ANC. So whoever remains outside can continue to criticize like an opposition party. So they can be pointing out the mistakes that are being done by that coalition, and the blame will be given to everyone. Let's say, for example, the DA gets in there. The failures that will be happening as from day one will also be, attributed to the DA. The DA cannot deny to say we are not responsible for the failure. So whoever is outside the coalition or the unity government will now remain the true opposition, and they can capitalize on that to build up and to grow. So EFF is likely to grow more if they remain outside the coalition, and they'll be the ones that point out to the mistakes that are being done by the unity government or the coalition government, whatever case it may be. So it is good for them to continue to do their robust interactions that they've been doing, because it is going to show the South African people what they stand for and how much they mean in terms of fighting for the rights of the South Africans. So to some extent, their usual stance could help the EFF to grow more, as they can be having all the parties in one place criticized, and they will fail to defend themselves, as they will be part of the coalition or part of that government in place. So this is what is happening. We are continuously watching at what is happening in the nation of South Africa. Very, very interesting. So let's see and watch and hear whatever is going to be the next development in terms of the coalition and what comes out of parliament today, with the MK party also standing ground not to be part and parcel of that. So very interesting. I am just giving you some quick updates, family. Like I told you that yesterday I had a power cut and I could not continue with all the shows that were lined up for yesterday, and they are still on my shoulder. I need to fight to make sure that all of them come out. So this is the situation. We need to continue to be watching what is happening with any updates that are coming. We are right here to make sure that we give them to you as quick as possible. Thank you so much for joining me on the show. And of course, subscribe to the channel for those that have not yet joined this family that supports the freedom of the Zimbabwean people by also subscribing, hitting the bell, putting a comment, and also putting your like. Thank you so much. Let us meet in the coming show. So don't go away. Stay tuned. Just in a minute, I'll be back.